Okay guys, welcome to the inside of this lovely bookshop here in Cambridge. As we've said, we're with Amanda and Abigail from Cambridge Bibles, and we're going to be talking about a range of subjects today. Some of the subjects that you've raised on the channel, and we're going to be talking about some new things coming up as well, which we'll be able to tell you a few details about.
Although we're a very old publisher, we also like to think that we're very new, and Bible's list is constantly evolving, and today we publish in a very wide variety of styles and bindings, and we are still producing new settings. In recent years we've had the Clarion edition, wide margin edition, and we're working on some exciting new editions which we might be able to say a little bit about later in this interview.
Excellent. Okay, now I understand you've got some new bindings for the Cameo, is that right?
That is, yes. So we're publishing the Cameo. We currently have a range of bindings at the moment, and we're adding two new ones soon, which will be a green goatskin and a blue goatskin edition.
Wow.
So it's very exciting. It's first one colour really to that edition, so it'll be quite an interesting thing to do with it. And we spoke about how it's really nice to have these items in the list and continually evolving, and this is one way it happens, even by introducing these new special bindings, and we're really excited to launch those soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's blue and green. Would that be similar to the Topaz, some of the colours that we've seen for the Topaz?
It would be, yes, it would be very similar. So a darker blue and a darker green. Yes, they're still in development at the moment, but we'll hope to have some more news on that shortly. And very excited to see it come. So.
Well, I for one am very, very excited to hear about that. They're going to be some really, really beautiful additions. So we have some really good additions in the current range that you're quite proud of, and I must admit have been fantastic Bibles for the market. In particular, the Clarion is one that you are particularly fond of. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that edition?
The Clarion setting of the Bible was developed in 2011 as part of our celebrations of the 400th anniversary of the King James Version. So it's unusual at the time. It's a single column setting, not only for the poetry, which we've got here in Ezekiel, but also for the prose, and with the cross references in the side margin. And it's a nice, generous typeface too. The idea was, it would read like an ordinary book. Yeah, absolutely. It's a lovely shape and size, and has a good flop when you're holding it in your hand.
No, absolutely. I mean, the font in particular is a very readable font. The Lexicon #1 font, really quite nice and readable for most people. I would have thought of any age and any background, you would be able to read that, and also available in quite a number of translations.
That's right. So it came first in King James Version to celebrate the 400th anniversary, but we also do it in English language version, New American Standard Bible, New Research.
Yeah, quite a number of translations. So really something for most people, I would have thought, in those editions.
Indeed. Yes, now the Pitt Minion has a long backstory. It was originally developed in the 1960s to try to provide something which was small enough to carry around with you easily, but also readable. And at the time it used a Times New Roman typeface.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and we reissued it in a range of different translations fairly recently, using a new digital typeface in different translations. So I think this edition is the one that goes the furthest across the list. It's KJV, NIV, NRSV, ESV.
Yeah, also
NLT.
New Living Translation, which is something of a rarity within the range.
Yes, it is. Yes, and it's popular because it's really small and slim. It fits in a jacket pocket or in a lady's handbag very easily.
Yeah, I think there was a discussion on the appreciation page on Facebook, which was if you were going on a train, which Bible would you grab, sort of thing. You know, and I think the Pitt Minion came out top on that, just purely because it's just so portable. Really super slim, about an inch thick, 2.5 centimetres.
It is an inch.
Just a fantastically portable size.
Absolutely.
You can take it anywhere.
Yeah, and a really good seller for you guys as well, I'm sure.
Definitely.
Fantastic.
It is.
Excellent, thank you. So this is the wide margin, which is, again, it's a multi-translation edition from Cambridge. A lot of people like to mark their Bibles, make annotations, study, put notes in there. And this is the New International Version. And this is another use of the Pitt Minion text, is that right, Amanda?
Yes, that's right. It's the big brother or the big sister, if you like, of the Pitt Minion Bible. So if you buy the Pitt Minion Bible in a particular translation, and you also buy the wide margin, then the text will appear on exactly the same point in the page. The text is blown up by 115%.
Okay, so a bit of an increase.
Just a little bit bigger, and it's got an inch wide, 2.4 centimetres all the way around the text for you to write your own annotations. It's also got an expanded concordance at the back. And
which is very handy as well, I think.
It is, definitely.
To quickly reference another text, another verse is very handy.
And there's an index here,
so
you can find all your verses about propitiation.
Propitiation, very good.
And then there's a section of Bible maps back as well.
I have to say, I really do like the new Cambridge Bible maps. They're very, very nice indeed. Historically, you used to use the Moody maps, is that right? And then
we did.
Been able to move over to your own maps, which are beautiful. Well, a few of my subscribers are a big fan of an edition which is unique to Cambridge, which is the Cambridge New Paragraph Bible. Amanda, do you want to tell us a little bit about that edition?
Yeah, certainly. Well, here it is, the New Cambridge Paragraph Bible. Comes in hardback and in leather, and it can come with or without the Apocrypha.
Okay.
It's another edition which we developed as part of our heritage and developing things. As those of you who love the King James will know, it's been through many different editions, and there are a lot of small variations in the text which have come about through different people editing and printing it over the years. Well, David Norton, one of the editor of this edition, actually went back to the notes of the original translators of 1611, and he came up with a text as close as possible to the way the translators wanted it to be when they delivered their edition to King James back in 1611 following the Hampton Court Conference. So this edition aims to represent the original text of the King James Version as the translators intended it, although he uses modern spelling and paragraphing to make it easier for people to read today. Okay. And this has been really popular actually. We first brought it out at the beginning of the 21st century. At that time it was a much larger edition, only with the Apocrypha. And then in 2011 we did a second edition with the Apocrypha or without the Apocrypha in a more compact size, so a bit easier to carry around with you. And the most recent thing we've done with it is we have put a new jacket on it.
Right.
Which this jacket
very nice.
Is an illustration of King's College Chapel, which is almost opposite where we're sitting at the moment.
It is. We'll definitely insert some footage here.
Yes.
Yes, it's beautiful. This is the King's College that used to feature on the old Cambridge two-part box covers. Is that right?
It's the same college, different artists. This is by a young artist called Ada H.Y. Lee.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
So
that's
if you actually reach to the Cambridge Paragraph Bible just over there, so this is a special edition of the Ruby text edition.
Right, yes.
Which you can only purchase. Yes, that one. Only purchase at this
that
bookshop.
Is the same.
In fact,
that is the same illustration.
This is the
same
old
building.
picture that used to be on some of the Cambridge Bible covers, and as you can see, that's also using King's College Chapel just across the road. So it's
nice.
a modern take, really, on that.
It's very nice indeed.
Sticking with the same theme.
Absolutely, and that's only available from the Cambridge Bookshop here. So Yeah, this is where you need to come if you
Number
want
1
to get one of
Trinity
those.
Street, Cambridge.
Thank you for that. Excellent. So this is a new jacket. Very nice. Very nice it looks too. So all you fans of the Cambridge Paragraph Bible can get yourself a new jacketed copy with or without the without the apocrypha. Thank you. The Concord Reference Bible is one of Cambridge's most famous and I dare say most popular Bibles in their range. It's a wonderful size, really readable. I love the bold figure references. They work really well in this edition. Although the Cameo is my favourite, I must admit I'm slightly envious of those bold figure references, but nevertheless, Amanda, do you want to tell us a little bit about this edition?
The Concord was one of our first editions to use a modern style typeface, so it's set in Times New Roman style typeface. And as Mark says, it pioneered this bold figure cross-reference thing. So instead of having the verse indicators in the text itself, you check the margin, and if there's a reference for verse 10, then it will be there in the margin.
Yeah, super
So
clear.
it makes it easy to read without any interruption. Use the text unencumbered. It's a fairly modern typeface, but very, very clear and sharp.
Oh yeah.
And it's also regarded as a very good King James version text in terms of accuracy.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I like the running headers as well at the top. Something that I like I think the Cameo has them as well. That's also very handy if you just want a quick scan as to what's on that page.
Yeah, and another beauty of the Concord is that there's a Concord family. So there's a personal Concord, which is a bit smaller for carrying around day to day, and also the Concord White Margin Bible, which is the same text, same text but with wider margins for notes, etc.
Yeah.
So you can have a few Concords for different purposes, whether you're preparing sermons or taking it along to church, or whether you want something to put in your briefcase or in the back of the car for when you're out and about.
Definitely. You could get super familiar with that particular text, couldn't you, by having the different Bibles all from the same family. I can see the benefit of that for sure. You'd certainly know your way around it pretty well by the finish, wouldn't you?
You should be able to go to the right verse.
Yeah, tell you what's on each page almost. Now, one question we were asked, is there any plans for an enlarged Concord text?
An enlarged Concord? Not really, because it's so popular the size it is. Because it's but what we have done is we had a call for people who said that they wanted the beauties of the Concord and the Turquoise Bibles, but in a modern translation. And that led us to developing the Topaz edition.
Very good.
Which emulates many of the attractive features of traditional Bibles in a digital format.
Yes.
It's a 2-column. It's got red, not red letter text in the New Testament, but it also has red for the chapter numbers.
Yes.
Yep.
And we started this off in the English Standard Version and followed it up with the New King James version.
Yeah.
And we then had people saying, we'd like it in a King James version too. So I think that would be our answer for people who want a larger version of a Concord, is to try out a Topaz. We're hoping to publish a Topaz edition in the King James version within the next few months.
Within the next few months, okie doke, yes. Well, I'm sure that will prove to be a very popular edition. It's nice to have the traditional emphasis on the turquoise, but then also to have something modern as well, because I often find that perhaps certain people want a modern looking Bible. They don't want an old-fashioned looking Bible. I love an old-fashioned looking Bible, don't get me wrong, but I think I like both as well. So there's certainly room for both within the family, isn't there?
Yeah. And one of the advantages of the digital typeface is that it's very, very sharp and clear. Whereas when we're doing something like a Cameo or a Turquoise, we're working with images that are nearly 100 years old.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So inevitably they're not quite as pristine as
No.
they were when they first came out.
Absolutely no.
And I think that's the thing that some people love that about, say, the turquoise, you know, the quirks that it has that kind of remind you of its history, remind you where it's coming from, and just give it a certain character which modern Bibles can't really reproduce. So I think for that reason the turquoise remains very, very well loved. But then, you know, for someone looking for something a bit sharper, something a bit more contemporary feeling, digital typeface, the topaz I think will be a perfect answer. And for that reason, you could kind of see a use of both of them really in tandem. Size-wise, they are very, very similar. But the quality differences really is just in the typesetting, in the reproduction, and I think there's definitely a kind of a use for both for that reason.
So the turquoise is a really popular, larger font edition, as we've mentioned already. Now, there is something to tell you. There is a new binding of the turquoise. Is that right?
Really
do you want to say a little bit more about that?
So we love the turquoise, and we are very thrilled to be bringing it out in this binding right here, which I'll show it first before I say it. Box on the table.
So many boxes.
You might be able to see this is a full black calfskin edition of the turquoise. So this is going to be available very, very soon. Definitely before Christmas, about mid-November, we're looking at publishing this. Fantastic. It's a beautiful binding. So it's the turquoise that you all know and love on the inside. The binding is a very, very soft and flexible calfskin leather, very, very smooth to the touch, and it's got a full binding on it, so you might be able to see it on the camera there, the way it overlaps the edges.
As well.
And this is a very kind of traditional style of binding, so it's something that we used to do many, many, many years ago, and it's not something we've done recently. So it's a style of binding which deliberately tried to protect the gilt edges of the Bible. So back in the days that these were kind of real gold leaf and things, that would be particularly useful. Nowadays, obviously, it's more just beauty rather than practicality there. But that idea of kind of protecting the gilt edges of the Bible from scuffs and scrapes, and it's a beautiful traditional method of bookbinding. But I think when you open it as well, you can see the perimeter of the leather here. I think it's just very classic and really suits this edition. So we'll be very, very excited to launch this very soon.
Fantastic. Excellent. Well, I've certainly had a good look myself, and it is indeed a beautiful, beautiful edition. Absolutely lovely.
True.
Look at that. Some Bible yoga.
Beautiful.
Well, the new edition is something that we want to talk about, which is the Diadem. The Diadem. I'm just going to hand this over to you guys for you to talk about this fantastic new edition.
Yes. Well, here we go. We have it here. So currently have it available in hardback. I say available. This is actually a production copy, the only one of its kind at the moment. But we will soon be getting stock, and we aim to publish the hardbacks of the Diadem early November. We have the English Standard version without apocrypha, which is right here. And we have the English Standard Version with Apocrypha, which is right there. So this is the first ESV Bible with Apocrypha that we've published. And what the Diadem is, it's a launch of a new family of Bibles for us really, based on the Pitt Minion design, and it's expanding that Pitt Minion design up just a bit by 22% to something that's roughly the same size as the Concord edition. Now, in our minds, the reason why we did this was we had a lot of people writing in saying, you know, they love the Pitt Minion, it's such a clear and legible typeface, but it's quite small. Obviously it's suitable for carrying around, but when they want to sit at home and read or something, it's very, very slightly too small for people's preferences. So we decided, okay, well we can expand this, we can make something a little bit more useful for if you're not needing to transport it. And similarly, we had a lot of people saying they love the Concord, but they'd love to see that available in other translations. So this, with it being the same size, is another kind of solution to that as well.
Absolutely.
So combining two in one. And you can see it here. Push it up to the camera. I don't know whether.
Yeah, we can certainly show that there. There we go. I'll insert some
we
footage
really
as well.
think this makes it super readable. I mean, you can probably take some pictures against the Pitt Minion.
Absolutely.
If you look at it against the Pitt Minion design, you'll be able to see instantly the difference that it makes just expanding it to this level. It's based on, it's printed on 36-gram paper for the hardback edition.
Oh, right.
We are expecting leather editions to come soon. So those will be available after Christmas. Unfortunately, we were a little bit delayed with those, but they will be on a 32-gram paper, so it's very slightly thinner.
Okay.
The reason why we've chosen to print this on a heavier grade of paper is it's actually more of a practical reason than anything. Pitt Minion design is very good at using space efficiently, at getting a lot of words into a very small space. And that's why a Pitt Minion Bible, as Amanda is showing here, is so slimline, because it really does that job well. That's printed on a 28-gram paper, very slim. By blowing the Pitt Minion up 22%, we're expanding the page design, but we're not really expanding the bulk of the book. So what we'd have ended up with a larger Pitt Minion would be a book this size, but a book that thick. And we thought that probably wouldn't really sit well in your hand. You know, it doesn't feel like you really want a Bible to feel like. So that's why we chose a slightly heavier style of paper that does have the benefit of obviously opacity. It's very readable, the show through is very reduced, and it just means that a book this size, it sits so well in your hand, it's so comfortable. I mean, I think without Apocrypha is 36mm thick, with Apocrypha 40mm.
Fairly slim, isn't it?
Fairly slimline, yeah, it's not huge, but it just makes it a little bit more comfortable to hold and to read, and it's a beautiful edition, and we've really got high hopes for this one. I think it's going to be one of our popular editions, probably the most mainstream edition we've done so far. So.
It's certainly hitting a sweet spot of size, and it's also everyday carry type material, isn't it?
Yeah, we were brainstorming for quite a while to come up with this name. We were trying to think of something traditional that fits in with the rest of the titles on our list. You know, we often base names around gemstones. We've had in the list currently, we've got the Topaz, the Turquoise, the Ruby, we've had the Sapphire, we've got the Emerald. You know, there's a definite theme there. So we were trying to think along those lines, and we're really seeing this as the kind of crowning item in the list. As I said, probably one of the most mainstream Bibles we've done, one of the most standard in terms of usage, widely adaptable, and we were thinking along those lines. That's when we thought of Diadem, you know, a jewelled crown, and it's quite an interesting angle, really. We do see it as the crowning item in our catalogue, and obviously kind of with that connection with the tradition of Bible naming that we had, Diadem being a jewelled crown seemed to be quite a good choice. And then really the story developed around that. So the crown of thorns that we see on the cover, both on this edition and this edition just here, we're trying to think about diadem and what that really means, especially in a Christian context. You know, it's a symbol of power and authority, something a monarch might wear, and what does that mean really for you know, when we think about it a bit deeper. And that's really where the crown of thorns came from, where the story came from. You'll see that in the latest video that we've announced, just that connection really of the way that we're thinking about this, the way that this crown of thorns has appeared on the jacket. And we really love the artwork. I mean, this was actually painted by the brother of our production controller, Roddy, so Angus McLean. He did both graphic covers for us, painted them from scratch. And yeah, it's beautiful. I think the artwork is stunning, and we think it's a really, really attractive cover with a nice story behind it. Really, something which is meaningful and
absolutely,
sets this edition apart. So we're very happy with the result.
Yeah, well, yes. Again, I've had a good look at that, and it's a lovely edition. It really is. I think it's undoubtedly going to do really well. Is there plans to do this edition in other translations as well?
We are thinking of that. Yes. So currently, obviously, English Standard Version and Apocrypha. We are thinking about branching out into different translations. There are a few on the horizon that we are considering to come next. Can't really release details of that right now, but you will be finding out very soon.
Very interesting to know that though.
Yes,
excellent.
But it is something that's going to be rolled out in other translations in the future, and we're already planning the direction that will take too. We really do. I mean, we love the format. None of us could have really anticipated what a difference this increase makes to the reading experience. And yeah, looking at it now, I think it's fantastic. So I think it is something that we definitely want to offer in a range of formats and a range of translations.
So plans for more translations, Abby. Can you say something about the bindings as well?
Yes, so as I mentioned, it's available in hardback soon. That'll be available in November, and then the leather editions will be coming after Christmas in the spring next year. So we're having it in a range of leather bindings with and without apocrypha, some different colours as well. And importantly, the leather editions will actually be a red letter text.
Right.
These hardbacks are currently a black letter text, so that's an important difference, as well as the paper that's printed on, very slightly different yet again, just to really give a touch of quality to those leather editions and set them apart a little bit from what you see today. So.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Now, one of the questions that I was asked is about New Testaments, in particular a luxury New Testament. Amanda, do you want to say something about that and what you do have available?
Yes, we don't have many New Testaments in our list because they work out quite expensive compared to the price of the Bible, and often not very much difference in between the two. So the Bible in comparison looks like better value. But we do have some New Testaments. So we have 3 slimline New Testaments in the New Revised Standard version. They're not real leather, but I think they look very elegant.
Very nice, yeah.
Very
absolutely.
soft, comfortable to carry around.
Yes.
And we also do a pocket-sized Revised English Bible New Testament with a very elegant single column setting.
Very
We
nice.
produced this one to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the REB, and it shows a little church called Cramon Kirk in Scotland on the jacket.
Very nice. Yes, I'll put a link to.
So we have up to that. That would be lovely.
Put a link to the video that I did of that, and people can have a close look at that as well. I actually really like the imitation leathers that Cambridge do. They really are the best on the market that I've seen. In particular, I think I've got an ESV Pitt Minion, which is just fantastic.
Is it the brown?
It is. It's in tan and red, and it's just it's just super flexible and feels great as well. So I'm a big fan of Cambridge imitation leather. So please, never be put off by a Cambridge imitation leather. It really is.
I think lots of people don't realise that it is.
It's they're really nice, and a lovely range of colours as well. Excellent, yeah. Now, if we say a little bit about the NRSV, because this is an edition that sits a bit separately to the other range of Bibles that you do, like the Clarion, the Cameo, the Pitt Minions, things like that. In fact, they're slightly separated on the shelf there as well. One of the questions I've been asked is why isn't the NRSV available in some of those other formats?
Yeah, well, the NRSV, it's an interesting one for us. You're right that it does sit separately on the shelf. So currently we offer it in a range of few edition formats. So it's quite common, especially in the Church of England. Churches buy lots of copies of editions like this, hardback editions, to sit on pews. So when you go into church and worship, the readings are something that you can follow along in the Bible.
Yes.
And that's the idea behind these editions, really. They're text editions as well, no references in these. And that's why we've always really done the NRSV a little bit separately, because we know that there's that use for it here in the UK. We do often get the question of, are we going to offer the NRSV in any other families, Clarion, Topaz, Pitt Minion, Diadem? And the answer to that at the moment would be not currently, because interestingly the NRSV translation is being updated soon. So really until we get that new text, which will be available next year, we won't be developing the NRSV at this point in time. However, that's not to say that we won't do any additions in line with our other ranges after that point. So it is something we're thinking about at the moment. We do have some plans, and we are hoping to offer the NRSV in something familiar. And we'll be considering that really once the new version of the translation is available. As I say, that should be coming next year, and it's really up until that point we can't really do anything. But yes, maybe.
So watch this space.
Watch this space, exactly.
Very good. Okay. Hi guys, so I hope you found that interview and that visit to Cambridge interesting. Lots and lots of things discussed there, a few answers given to a lot of the questions. Thanks to the team for sharing those with us, and also some little bits of information about some upcoming stuff. So I hope you found the whole thing as interesting as I did. Big thanks to Cambridge for having me. I really appreciate their generosity with their time and their hospitality, and just basically taking the time to sit down with me in that way. Really appreciated that. So now I do apologise for the sound quality. There was a few audio challenges on the day because obviously we were masked up, so I had to turn the gain and the volume on the mic right up, but also we were in a shop, so there was some background noise and also a busy street outside. So apologies if it wasn't as clear as I would have liked it. I have listened to it back, and I think it's not bad. So I'm reasonably happy with how the videos came out. So yeah, just want to make this really quick. I'm really pleased that you've stayed till the end of the video, because there is a few little bits and bobs that I wanted to add in here, and some of this is hot news off the press since my visit last week. So do stay tuned for this. I'll try and make it as brief as possible. Very quick one. Number one is the Transetto, which is behind me here, the little green volume there. The Transetto that we spoke about in the interview, it's actually cheaper than I thought. It has been reduced, and it's £7.99, so it's £8. £8 for a Transetto, for a KJV Bible printed and bound by Youngblood in the Netherlands. So a really fantastic compact edition. So do check out the Transetto if you're at all interested. Of course, burtonbibles.com. You'll have a nice surprise when you put it in your cart, because it's cheaper than I said in the video. Also, I wanted to put a link to a video that Cambridge did regarding the Diadem name. It was mentioned in the interview stage, but I'm not sure how clearly it came across. So I will put a link. I'll try and put a link to that video so that you can watch the little 2-minute video that Cambridge did about the name Diadem, what it means, and why they chose it for their new Bible, which is just here. And speaking of which, this is coming up on the channel very soon, our overview and review, if you like, of this fantastic new Bible from Cambridge, the Diadem. I have my copy here that I've been using the last few days. This is the version with the Apocrypha, so I'll be sharing that with you guys on the channel very shortly. Another bit of news which has come out just today, actually, as I'm filming this, is that the KJV Topaz, which has been hotly anticipated by a lot of you, I know, the KJV Topaz has been delayed slightly until early 2022. So hopefully in the new year we will see the KJV Topaz, but we're not going to be seeing it this side of Christmas as originally thought. There's just been a lot of supply chain challenges and issues, and you can imagine bringing all of those things together to meet that deadline in the climate that we're in at the moment, trying to come out of the pandemic, and indeed throughout the pandemic. So that's been very challenging, but you know, hopefully it's only a matter of a few weeks, and we'll enjoy that edition, I'm sure, when we get a chance to see it, hopefully here nice and early on the channel. So I'm sure it'll be worth the wait, but I just thought I would share that with you. It's just been released by Cambridge today, the news about that delay. Two little bits of sort of interesting things that are on the horizon from Cambridge. I did ask the team if I could share it, and they said that would be okay. Two possibilities that we want to talk about. There is the possibility of a Cameo edition that will kind of mark the centenary, and I believe there is noise that they might be bringing back the Cameo wide margin for some sort of celebratory release. So that is the possibility. Nothing has been confirmed firmly, but that is what might be on the horizon. So I am very pleased if that is the case, because as you know, the Cameo wide margin is my daily reader, more or less. I read from it, study from it, I preach from it. I absolutely love it to bits, and I'm going to be sharing with you on the channel very soon a Cameo wide margin that has come into my possession, so stay tuned to the channel. But I love that edition, and the fact that there might be something happening with it from Cambridge is just fantastic news. So stay tuned, and hopefully we'll have some more news on that as and when Cambridge release it. The other possibility is the possibility that Cambridge will be looking at a new translation, and it is rumoured to be the CSB translation. We might see some Bibles coming out from them with the CSB as its translation. So that is the Christian Standard Bible, which was originally the HCSB, I believe, from Holman. I really like that translation. It reads really fluidly, it reads really well, nice and easy translation to read, but also I personally have found it to have been very, very acceptable in terms of the poetry still, and in terms of the feel of the language that's used, the accuracy and things like that. I've actually quite appreciated that translation. So watch this space. Hopefully we can have some more news on that from Cambridge. Nothing is confirmed and nothing is signed as of yet, but hopefully we'll have some confirmations coming in the next period of time. Also wanted to finish on a high as well. We've got some fantastic stuff coming up on the channel. We've got the Diadem review. I have also seen the Family Chronicle Bible. We've got to wait till Cambridge are ready to talk more about that, but I will have some stuff to share with you on that at some point. Also, we've got the October visit to the Christian Resources exhibition, a sit down with the Bible Society, and also we have got a giveaway coming up, and I've been delaying for so long just to get all my ducks in a row, so to speak. But the first Burton Bibles giveaway, as befits it, I suppose, is going to be for Cambridge Bibles. We've got some Cambridge Bibles to give away. Very kindly, we have 3 Bibles. They are Pitt Minion Bibles. So here is a Pitt Minion here, and it is the ESV Pitt Minion in brown calf split leather. Now this is a Pitt Minion in calf split leather. Hopefully you can make that out, but it has a really nice grain to it, really nice feel to it. Opens up beautifully flat as well, so hopefully you will want to get involved with that. It is restricted to UK participants, sorry about that, but I just can't ship Bibles all over the world, unfortunately. So that's the way we're going to do it, just to try and grow the UK audience as well. So it'll be dead easy to participate. It'll just be trying to hit all our social media stuff and stuff like that, to help us to grow our audience and reach out to some more people. So hopefully that'll go live on Sunday, and there'll be 3 brown ESV Pitt Minion calf split leather Bibles for you to get your hands on. When they arrive with me, I'll show you more details on the channel. Do look out on our Instagram and Facebook page for more details, but that's what's coming up. Lots of good stuff. Thanks for staying till the end. I hope you have stayed till the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe, it helps us out a lot. Take care, God bless, and we'll catch up soon. Bye bye.